For the righty reliever. We've been told this is a fluid bullpen.
Oh my God! Oh no.
Buck Showalter's immediately out. We talked about how this was a really tense game yesterday.
And both dugouts are out there on the field.
Dugouts have cleared. Bullpens are coming out now. 3 Mets hit by a pitch yesterday against the Nationals. It sounded like Buck and Dave had cleared the air. They know that they're trying to find a grip on these new baseballs, and it's just really tough. But you've got a star like Lindor. You're trying to see him have a turnaround year with this club that he has signed such a big contract with.
Important to note, though, that was scary to see Lindor go down, but he is up, he is walking around, he's staying on the perimeter of that scrum.
If Keegan comes in there again, I don't think he'll respond the same way. That's probably going to be an ejection.
What do we got?
Hudson willing to just take his base.
Yep.
But some others taking umbrage over there in the Brewer dugout. Jason Hayward, first man in from center field.
Yep.
And now everybody will rush in and have a little bit of a heated confrontation. This likely will not turn into anything more than mass gathering. There's legitimate arguments on both sides of this issue whenever this happens. The Brewers are going to continue to make the case, hey, we're not throwing at you guys on purpose, and the Cubs are going to say, yeah, you might not be, but we keep getting hit and we're getting frustrated by it.
So Lopez facing Nolan Arenado, who's been on base 4 times. First pitch up and in. Both benches clear. Now the bullpens racing in from left field and right field. And we mentioned it at the end of last inning. We thought this might happen, and now it has.
You knew it was coming. You could feel it this series, specifically yesterday. Takes that one up and in. It was very evident the intent on that one. He pushes Nito out of the way to try to go after Lopez.
I think to Nolan's point, saying, okay, if you want to do it, there's a way to do it.
Get down.
Yep. Better not be down or be up in my head.
Oh, that's it. Nolan knows. He knew what was coming. There's nothing that he did, obviously, but there is a way to do it. You get the ball down.
It's on the backside or the rear end or the leg.
That's it.
But not at the head. I think that's what Nolan is saying. And so apparently Arenado has been tossed from this game. Obviously both sides have been warned now.
This was in Chicago. Anderson didn't like this, the attempted tag and the push off by Donaldson. Then this play at second. Anderson has some words. Donaldson, yeah. And now tonight, didn't escalate, but there were more words. And Anderson said, I see you. And here we go again. Now Grandal and Donaldson nose to nose, and the bench is empty. Well, this was heating up on a hot Saturday, and it's spilling over right now. The bullpen's emptying, running toward home plate. And being dragged away by the White Sox is Tim Anderson. But this started with Grandal and with Donaldson at home plate. Abreu's a big man, and Anderson continues to want to get at Donaldson. And there's still 2.5 games left to go.
Well, Tim Anderson is the spark plug of the White Sox, and then Grandal is going to stick up for his players that are not involved. You see what happens. You got Aaron Judge laughing, but you know it's not a laughing matter there. The White Sox were struggling. The Yankees have been beating them up, and all of a sudden, you know, they're going to bowl their neck and make something out of it. And if you're Josh Donaldson, you got to figure out, you know, what's going on here.
Hit him.
What's Ty saying?
I'm not sure.
I'm just saying it didn't hit him. And now the Astros dugout just exploded. And now both sides are getting into it. Here we go. Now Scott Service, one of the first to spill out. That escalated quickly. Now somebody said something.
I think what Ty was doing is he said that it hit him. The umpire said it didn't. Then Ty looked at the dugout and wanted Scott to take a look at it. Now I hope everybody calms down a little bit.
Dusty's talking with Ty. Are we clear on whether or not that was ruled a hit by pitch or not?
I don't think it was. I think Ty thought it hit him. He turned around to the dugout and gave it one of these to his ear.
That would make sense.
And then so Scott was saying something, and I think the other dugout, you can see it hit him. I mean, it's going, and Scott wanted to take a look at it. And then all of a sudden, the Houston dugout started screaming across the field. I think it's going to hit him in the back. It does. It certainly deflects. It looks like it.
It clearly changes direction.
Yeah. So I think, and that's why Ty was saying it hit him. The umpire couldn't see it because it was behind him.
Makes sense. And now Scott's being talked to.
I think they said they're throwing him out.
They've thrown Scott out.
That's what he was looking at, pointing like you have to go.
And now they've thrown somebody out over there. Correct?
Yes. I thought Jordan Baker, the first base umpire, he was over towards the Houston dugout, and he was the one that was talking to some of the Houston people. And my impression of that was that he was telling them, because stuff was going on, that he was letting them know who was going to go or not.
That was Omar Lopez, one of the base coaches for the Astros.
1-2 on Mateo. My goodness. That looked a little too much like the Josh Harrison ball from last night. Mateo had some words for Michael Kopech. Mateo just gave him a look there. I don't know what he said, if he said something, but now he's staring him down. And there's some yelling from the Baltimore bench. The bullpens are spilling out as well. Kopech being restrained by Lance Lynn.
One of the things you have to make sure of doing is you want to settle your pitcher down. You don't want any blows to be thrown. I don't think that anything's going to come of that. Mateo decided that he wanted to say something, and so that really precipitated this.
And here's the delivery, and hit by the pitch is Winker. And now we'll see if the umpires do anything, because warnings were already. Now Winker is heading to the Angels dugout, and both benches empty, and here come all the relievers from the bullpen. And we have a brawl right now over by the Angels on deck circle. Punches being thrown everywhere. This is an all-out brawl over on the left side of home plate. Here come all the relievers. Umpires trying to restrain players, and the war is on right now. This is far from being broken up. Now more players involved because all the members of the respective bullpens are down there. Players are on the ground. A lot of grappling going on right now by the Angels on deck circle. Winker, after he got hit, you could tell he was unhappy, and then he started to move towards the Angels dugout. Now, for the most part, order is being restored. There's still a little pushing and shoving.
Yeah, and Julio Rodriguez is being restrained right now. He wants in heavy and hard. One of the Mariners coaches has him, and he is trying to get away.
And there's still some shoving and pushing going on. And it's continuing a little bit more towards the third base side, and this is far from being over. Now the scrum of players is over on the third base side. Some players have just gotten knocked down. A couple of Seattle players just hit the deck in foul territory on the third base side.
It's still going.
Yeah. Well, you only have 4 umpires to kind of control this right now. And they are certainly outnumbered with 52 players and coaches on each side. Winker just looked to the crowd, and he is flashing a finger to the Angels crowd on the first base side. That is absolutely classless.
And now here's Alejandro Kirk, who walked and scored in the second. And that hit him. And Charlie Montoyo is coming out, and he is pointing towards Kirk and the plate. He wants to go talk to Kirk and to make sure he's okay. He was just talking to DJ Rayburn, the home plate umpire. And now it's getting heated. And now Devers is coming in, and Vladdy is coming out, and Pivetta is yelling at somebody. I think he and Guerrero are having words. The dugouts have emptied. The bullpens have emptied. You know, the Blue Jays have been hit a lot lately, and Kirk's been hit on a couple of occasions as well. And Springer's playing peacemaker right now, trying to keep Vladdy under control. Manoah is out on the field as well, and he is now being guided back to the Blue Jay dugout. And fortunately, this one didn't really boil over.
Yeah, we've seen enough of that in the last week or so.
Were warnings issued?
I think so. I thought I saw one of the umpires issue a warning.
Kirk was hit by Connor Siebold on Monday night of the first game of this series, so hit twice in this series.
Dave Bush is doing the right thing, I think, right here. The pitching coach of the Boston Red Sox, go out there and calm your starter down. Pivetta was hot. Vladdy was hot.
Oh, he's got absolutely drilled. He's not happy about it. Careful now. Santander looking at Moretta. Here come the benches. Umpires will hold Moretta back. Santander talking to the catcher Papierski. Brandon Hyde will try to get him over to first.
Well, Santander doesn't get upset very often at all. I don't think it was on purpose, but it was nowhere near, and I mean nowhere near where it was supposed to be.
It's the 62nd time the Orioles have been hit by a pitch this year. Santander's been hit 10 times. And again, that was likely not intentional, but you can understand some residual frustration from Anthony, who's been drilled, and his team has been drilled time and again. 2-2 from Fairbanks. That was a awfully late grant of time by Andy Fletcher.
Well, of all the rules they're thinking about changing next year, I think this is one that he would look into too. I mean, once a pitcher comes set and begins his motion, I just don't think you're asking for crazy injuries to happen.
Didn't seem to throw Fairbanks off his rhythm. 2 strikeouts in the inning. Oh, Chirinos right now is yapping at Fairbanks. Andy Fletcher's in between him, and the benches have cleared. Obviously, Fairbanks took some exception to that late call of time, and the Orioles and Rays are now bottled up on the first base side. Anthony Santander having to be held back right now by Member of the Rays team, Rougned Odor as well, talking to the pitching coach Kyle Snyder.
Well, I'm going to tell you, this is what's different about the Orioles. And you don't like to see this happen, but the Orioles ain't taking it no more. They're just not. And in years past, maybe they would have. But we've seen this a couple times this year.
That was really ignited from nothing.
Yeah, I mean, Pete Fairbanks didn't like the late call. But if Pete Fairbanks is going to be mad at somebody, he should be mad at the umpire. He's the one that granted time.
Well, you could see Chirino's mouth time. And then here's after the last pitch. All right, so Fairbanks is jawing at him. Again, why Pete Fairbanks is mad at Chirinos beyond me. He's not the one who granted time. The umpires will get together. We'll sort this out when we return.
Hit him up high. And they're loaded up. For Abreu, the infield will have to come in and the outfield will have to come in. And now a little, here we go again. Pretty much the same thing we had at Houston. Vaughn just walked to first, had something to say. Lopez responded. We're a little bit in more close contact here than we were in Houston. Rocco Baldelli jawing with Miguel Cairo, the acting manager. And Rocco's right in the middle of this.
Yeah, Rocco didn't waste any time getting out there. Gary Sanchez was trying to cool things down. He ran right out to Jorge Lopez and put his glove up saying, let's calm down here. Well, it's certainly not a situation that Jorge Lopez is trying to hit anybody. I mean, it ran up and in, but he's got that arm side run. Got first and second. And
why would you put somebody at third base with one out? Correa saying, hey, look, the situation, of course, there's no intent.
Yeah.
1-2. And Baker burns him. A stare into the Blue Jays dugout. The Blue Jays are out of the dugout. They are hooting and hollering at Brian Baker. Here come the benches. John Schneider and Brandon Hyder out quickly. Brian Baker stared into the Blue Jays dugout, had a few things to say. The bullpens are coming in as these teams and these umpires attempt to restore order.
You don't think this game means something? It means something to these two teams.
That's Mateo right now. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is trying to get in there. Mateo is literally pulling him back by the jersey. Rougned Odor tries to play peacemaker 2.
Well, the Blue Jays appeared to me, they were hooting a little bit at Brian Baker. And then Baker had something to say. But I think there was some jawing coming from the dugout, and Brian Baker had enough on a big strikeout, so he says something back. And of course, the bench is empty. The bullpens come in.
Remember, Ben, Brian Baker was with the Blue Jays last year, pitched a game in the bigs, the rest of the season in AAA. There are a lot of his former teammates on that side. And Teoscar Hernandez is chirping right now.
And he gets struck by the pitch, and he glares out at Oviedo as he heads to first base. Mets got hit 4 times last night, and now Alonso very unhappy, and the bench is clear. You've got a pitcher who has had control problems, but the Mets are just sick and tired of getting hit.
That is the truth.
Bullpens come in to join it. No punches thrown. I mean, he stared him down, barked at him.
See,
1, 2.
He's putting the fingers up. Remember, he's putting the fingers 4 times where he hit last night. That's what he's showing you. I'm going to first, but that's the 4th time.
And he didn't mean
I don't mean to hit you.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, but
it doesn't matter.
That's what he's saying, though.
Yeah.